Hi everyone, I hope you guys are doing good. Let me know how you are in the chat box. Today we are going to learn about the data frames. So there is a prerequisite before you watch this video. You should know what are data frames, what are series objects. So go ahead and watch those videos under the pandas playlist that I have on this channel. Okay, so I assume that you know what are data frames. Now, today we are going to see how we can color our data frames. All we know is a basic data frame, just white in color. Okay, but today we are going to make colorful data frame, and in the upcoming videos, I will show you how you can not just color your cells of the data frame, but you can also make some graphs on top of the cells. So it will be a very exciting series for all of you to know something which generally people don't know. Okay, now let's get started. These are two things that you need to import. You need to import pandas, you need to import seaborn libraries here. Okay, so just run it, and after that I need a data frame. So we are going to use the seaborn library to read the data set directly from the seaborn library. As you know, seaborn has a lot of data sets already defined there. So I have imported seaborn as SNS. Now you can see if I write SNS dot get dataset names, I will be able to see what are the available names present inside the seaborn, right? So you can see these are the available data sets that I can use for any kind of analysis work. So right now I'm going to use the very popular data set for machine learning and all kinds of analysis, the iris data set. Okay, so using get dataset name, I can see what are the available dataset. Now using sns dot load dataset, we can pass the data which I want to read. So I want to read iris dataset, and here you can see I have passed iris inside this function called load dataset, which is a part of seaborn library. Okay, so this is how we can read the data directly from the seaborn library. So I need not to give this data to you. Okay, you can directly import these two things and then you can read the data. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to store this iris data in the variable called iris. Is that fine? And what I will do, I will take the uh, 10 top rows from this data and I have stored in iris. Now you can see what data I have. So these are the top 10 rows which I have stored in this variable iris. I don't want to take the whole data, okay, because there are 150 records. So I need to scroll up and down to show you all the things. Fine. So this is the data that I have. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to perform some styling uh, on data frames. Now, how we can style our data frame? Simple. Whatever data frame you have, look at this. This is just white and gray color data frame, right? Now, using iris dot style. Iris is a data frame, okay? So iris dot style dot I want to use background gradient, background underscore gradient, and run this. And now you can see, look at this data frame which I have. Okay, very plain and simple, but this one is more interactive, more colorful. So here color scale will tell you the lower value, higher values present in your data frame, right? Now this is the basic thing that we can do, but we can customize this a lot of using a lot of parameters. So this is what I want to tell you. Background gradient will color the background cells of this data frame based on the values. Here you can see the lower values have lighter color here, and the larger values have deeper color here, right? 5.4 for example, and 0.2. Now this is a default color scheme which is being used by this function background gradient. I want to give some other color, so there is a parameter called cmap. So using cmap I can pass the color scheme. For example, I want to use, let's say, magma. Okay, so I will pass magma inside the background gradient cmap, and now you can see the color scale has changed, right? This is one. Now you can use some other color scales. If you don't like this color, you can write blues, let's say. Cmap equals to blues, and oops, you can see blues color scheme is not available. And see, you don't need to remember all the color. Blues is not available. but this color scheme varieties is available. So if I write varieties, I will get the different color. Now if you say, sir, how do I remember all the color schemes? See guys, you don't have to remember, and even I don't remember all the color schemes, because there are so many things you can't remember all the things, but you should know how to recall those things. Okay, if you're stuck somewhere, you should know how to solve that issue. For example, here, if you want to use some other color scheme, let's say it's not varieties, it's not magma, you can write anything. For example, let's say I'm writing any color scheme, okay, which is not available, and in the error message itself it is saying that this variety is not a valid value for color map. Use accent, use accent r, blues underscore r to color it, right? So from here you can see I'm getting all the color map styles that I can use in the visualization. So let's go ahead and use the accent option here, and I've just copy pasted here, see map accent, and you can see this is the accent color map. So these are predefined color maps that you can use here in the background of all the cells, right? But you can color the you can control the background color also by using your own function that I will discuss in a separate video, okay, which will be dedicated only to that part, how to control the colors using your own parameters. Right now our focus is to use these color maps on the background gradients, right? So this is what color map does for you. Now there are multiple other things that you should know. So I have used, let's say, color map equals to accent. Right now there is a parameter called axis in the background gradient. So axis by default is 0, right? So if I write axis equals to 0, you can see there is no difference in these two graphs, everything looks same. So axis 0 is nothing but color scheme based on the uh, uh, columns. Okay, now if I write axis equals to 1, the colors will be made according to the rows like this. So here you can see the higher values on this side have all the blacks, and here we have all the pinks and blues like this. So one is along the column, one is along the row. So this is how you can control axis. Now if you guys are familiar with the pandas, then in pandas there are so many functions which uses axis parameter, right? So axis equals to 0 means going along the indexes, axis equals to 1 means going along the columns. Okay, instead of 1 and 0, even you can write index. See, when I'm writing index, it is still same, and when I write in axis equals to columns, then it is same. So if you don't want to write 0 and 1, you can use axis equals to uh, columns and indexes. Is that okay? Now in this you can see sepal length has higher values, so all the higher values are represented with the black color. So now the color scheme is made in this format. You can see this one, then this one, then this one. So moving along the rows like this. Okay, this is how it is colored. You need to look at it properly. When I'm writing axis equals to index, you can see then color is determined by the sepal length column only. So in the sepal length column you can see 5.1 is the largest value, and sorry, 5.4 is the largest value. Here largest value is being shown by the black color, whereas you can see 4.4 is the lightest value here. So when you say axis equals to index, then entire column is used to analyze the minimum value and maximum value, and based on that the coloring is done on the columns like this. And that's the reason you can see pink color here as well as pink color here, because in the petal width column we have highest value here 0.4, then 0.3, and the lowest value is 0.1, right? You need to run with index and columns to see the differences in the outputs. This is what axis parameter is doing for you. Now apart from axis, you can also control the before talking about subset, I will talk about the gmap. You can use gmap parameter. Okay, suppose you don't want to use all the values, instead you just want any one column to determine the color for the rows, so you can use gmap parameter for that. So this is how you have to write it: gmap iris the data frame name, and which column you want to use. Let's say I want to use sepal length, so I will copy and paste it here. And now you can see, now entire row has the same color. Now this row is pink in color, this second row is blue in color. Now how this coloring is defined here, the coloring is defined based on the sepal length column values. So for example, this is 5.1 here, so 5.1 is being represented by the pink color. Now pink or blue or orange, it is all defined by the color map that you have used, accent. Okay, so if instead of accent, if I use a magma, so color scheme will be different, you can see here. But this time the entire row will be of same color, because the color of the row is determined by the value in the sepal length column. And you can see this one, the highest value is 5.4, right? So the highest value is being represented by the yellow color in case of magma, correct? So entire row is colored yellow. This is how you can control. Now instead of sepal length, suppose I'm saying petal width. Okay, so in the petal width column you can clearly see uh, the values are same, petal width value are same, 0.2 0.2. Look at this, 0.2 0.2 here at this place, everywhere 0.2. That's why the color is purple for all the rows. And again here the value is 0.2 0.2, so entire row is colored with purple, right? So this is how color can be defined using the specific columns also. Now this is one parameter. Apart from this, if you want to control, right, the number of columns to color, you can do that also. So in the subset you have to mention the column names, right? Like sepal length, and let's say you want to use petal length. Okay, like this. So I have passed this sepal length and petal length column names in the subset. Now you can see only sepal length and petal length columns are being colored based on petal width column. Okay, always remember this. So if I copy and paste this part here and I remove the gmap, now if I remove the gmap, what will happen? Now coloring will be done based on all the values of the entire column. Now you can see this column has its own color scheme, this column has its own color scheme. You can see the black color here 4.4, the 1.3 value here. Okay, this 5.4 is the highest value here, that's why it is yellow. And in this petal length column 1.7 is the highest value. You can pause and you can look at the values, correct? In the sepal length, the minimum value is I think 4.4, right? Yes, 4.4. And here in the petal length column the minimum value is 4 point oh sorry 1.3. So that's why the black color is here, the black color is here, right? So this is how you can control the coloring. There are some other parameters, but they are not so much useful. For example, low value, you can define the color scale also. So for example, if I say lower value is 1 and higher value is, let's say, 4 is the highest value. So the color scale will be defined from 1 to 4 only. Now anything above 4 will have the same color, anything below 1 will have the same colors. Okay, this is how you can control, but low and high is not so much useful right now. These are the most useful um, parameters that you can use with the background gradient function. So this much you should know about the coloring of the cells of the data frame. Okay, otherwise there are hundreds of parameters in each and every function. We cannot learn each and everything, and those things are not even required. But yes, high and low is also there. I have shown you what it will do. So this is it for this video. The next part will be how to control the colors based on your condition. So we will do some conditional formatting on the data frames. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much, have a good day.